The history of the property started around 1948. My grandfather purchased the property. He purchased around 3,000 acres, and he did not believe in cutting any trees. He wanted it as natural as it could be, and as far as I know, he never cut a tree while he owned the property. When he passed away, the property got split up between my mom and her two siblings.
Dad loved the property so much, and I have that same love, and I think I've passed that love on to Philip and Heather. And I hope that Langley and John are going to love it as much as we all do.
Growing up, you almost don't realize what you have, you know, like this was just like normal life. As I've gotten older, I've come to recognize what a true treasure it is to have this place to come home to and this place to share with others. Philip has definitely been the kind of keeper of the land for sure, and has done a really amazing job.
The property was kind of in a natural state. There really hasn't been any timber harvesting done or any kind of management for wildlife or anything like that. So basically we've kind of taken it from there and moved to the kind of the next level as far as managing for wildlife and timber, and then also for recreation. So it's kind of just, you know, evolved from when he had it. Most of the property is upland hardwoods, mixed pine hardwoods. But as we're in right now, you know, 20 to 30% of the property is probably a pine plantation, whether it be longleaf pine or loblolly pine. Of course, we're in the loblolly stand now. But also there is some natural regen that we've got on the property where we just cut the timber and then let it come back naturally to try to keep the hardwood on the property. But that's pretty much the general makeup of the property. The way things really got started was in 2000. I graduated college and I'd moved back home. And at that time I decided that I wanted to try to start a hunting plantation. And we started guiding hunts. And I did that for about 3 years, and I really made a lot of great friends by doing that. And at that time I decided I wanted to just let friends come that I'd made through the process and just travel to other states and hunt with other people. So that's kind of how the ball got rolling. And several of the friends in the community have treasure forests, and I said, I want to try to accomplish those goals. So I met with Blake and Joel and tried to determine what would be best to start the process. So we got together and made a management plan. And from that point, we started the ball rolling with planting trees, burning, and from that time on, we've just tried our best to continue to manage the property as it needs to be. These longleaf were planted in 2008, so that'd make them about 7 years old. They've had a couple of fires run through them so far, and the reason we planted the longleaf was just so we could get a wider spacing on them, so that we allow more sunlight in to, as you can see, have more vegetation and growth for the wildlife. That's one of our main objectives here on the place is wildlife, so we wanted to try to create more habitat and environment for them. When we first started, we may have had maybe 10 acres of food plots. Today we have around 50 to 60 acres. Generally in the fall we plant wheat, rye, oats, and clover. Sometimes we'll put in some Australian winter peas. During the summer months, sometimes we'll plant chufa for the turkeys, and then also we'll plant corn in some food plots. We do all the work, planting and mowing and everything ourselves. My dad is a big asset with that. He really helps me with all the bush hogging, tractor work, and he's really a big asset. But we try to do as much as we can to create different edges for the wildlife. As you can see here, there are a lot of natural browse, planted pines behind there, and of course we'll be burning those in a couple of years, so that'll create new vegetation for the wildlife, but just try to create as many edges as possible to be more diverse. Since we've been managing the property, we've really seen a great increase in the size of the game and also the numbers in the game. When we started the guiding hunts, we run power in, and it's approximately 2.5 miles from when you enter the property till you get to the cabin here. And when we opened that up, it also created about another 20 to 30 acres of openings for the wildlife just for the easement for the power line. When we started with the property, there was mainly just 1 or 2 road systems throughout the property. And now we probably have 10 to 15 miles of either main roads or ATV trails throughout the property. Also, we have a numerous amount of hiking trails and things along the creek, you know, for people to take hikes or go out and just see the outdoors. Well, we're blessed to have a lot of streams running through the property. Here in front of the cabin, we've got Hatchet Creek that runs for about a mile through the property. And Hatchet Creek is well known for a lot of canoeing, kayaking. Each year they've been having a Hatchet Creek Festival, which over 100 kayakers and canoers go, and on a 2-day trip they'll canoe about halfway one day, stop and camp for the night, and then the next day go on and finish the leg of the trip. One thing that's near and dear to my heart is what we've done for the last 5 years. In our county we have what's called the Adopt a School, and each year during the spring of the year we have the 4th graders from the local elementary school come and learn about the outdoors. We'll set them up into different groups and they learn about tree identification, soil and water, and wildlife. And one thing that's really interesting is living in such a rural county, you would think that most all of the kids know about the outdoors and get to experience the outdoors. But there's such a large percentage of the kids in this community that don't know about the outdoors or don't get to experience being outdoors and learning about what nature has to offer. Never dreamed that we'd be at this state right now. I've always had a love of the outdoors and a love working outdoors. I'd rather be here running a tractor than in the office working up design plans.
Lots of people are much more eloquent than I am, you know. Have written things about how nature or the land or the mountains or the trees, like they fill your soul, you know, like that's what renews you. And I think that that's what kind of we both have in us. And I'm glad we do. And I think that we're both very lucky to both feel the same way too, because I also know that beautiful pieces of property like this can tear families apart sometimes too. And I think that we're really lucky that we both appreciated it in that way and can work together to try to continue it on for the next generation.